Hey, scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and I'm super excited to be able to bring you the Coastal Shores project recipe from Creative Memories. I was very honored that they asked me if I would join the team as a project recipe creator and designer, and they sent me the Ocean Shore papers a little while ago, a couple weeks ahead, and I was able to design this project recipe for you. And in the past, we used to have a video that was provided for other advisors so that you could watch it before you taught it to your customers. They've stopped doing that just because of manpower issues, but they said that I could do a video to show you how to put this project recipe together. And so I hope that it's helpful for you, whether you are a CM advisor or you're just a customer watching this or a scrapbooker wanting to do this on your own. So this is the project recipe that I did create for Creative Memories. That is the official one that is on the printed handout of the project recipe. And because this was my first time to do this, it didn't occur to me to record it while I was making the actual sample. These photos were provided to me by Creative Memories, and I don't have a way to get reprints. So today I'm going to recreate the same project recipe following the same directions, but I'm going to use some different papers so that you can see kind of how it works, how I chose the papers, how you might want to go about choosing the papers for your project recipe. If you are a Creative Memories advisor, you can print out the project recipe and the advisor guide that has some suggested paper pairings. If you're not an advisor, you can get with your advisor to get a copy of this project recipe, or you can probably just watch this video and figure out how to do it. But if you look at the sample, you're going to see that we use two pieces for the base. I chose to use Lagoon Shimmer because I love the Lagoon Shimmer, and I'm so glad it's back in our line. And then you're going to want one piece that's kind of this center block. And I chose to use a pretty patterned piece, which has lighthouses and sailboats on it. I'll show it to you. And so it's this one right here. I chose to use this one for my centerpiece, but you're going to use the back side of it for the crabs. And because I chose to journal on there, I was glad that it had a very neutral section. So this is the piece that I used for my center. And then I used the stripe. I think it has the polka dots on it on the back. For the two sides. So you're going to use front and back of this one also. So the two sides, and then I use this piece for some of the photo mats. And then you need a third piece that's going to be the two little mats on the sides and these photo mats here and this little skinny stripe. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces from that. So I want to do something different for my layout. I have some pictures of my husband and I at a lighthouse. So I don't want to use the three papers that we use, which were this one, and whatever the other one was, the seashells. This one. But of course you can use them because you're going to be using your own papers. So I'm going to use the other three papers. All of our paper packs have 12 papers. You get 6 each of 2 double-sided designs. So rather than use the ones I've already used, I'm going to use this one with the little floats. I don't know what they are. There's something having to do with fish. And the back has this red stripe, which can be a bit much. I'm going to use this one that has this little kind of checker on one side and the wood grain on the other. I really like that one. And then I'm going to use this one with the plaid and the little, it almost looks like stamped seashore designs. Okay, so those are the 3 papers I'm going to use. My 2 pieces of Lagoon Shimmer are in here. And we're going to go ahead and get started with this project recipe. So the project recipes, the way they work is that you get on the printed handout, you get a sample of the a photo of the finished layout. Then you get a positioning guide, and then you get the cutting guides. And this is where it's kind of like a recipe. So we give you the ingredients, and then the directions of how to put it together. If you're doing this on your own, I always highly recommend reading the directions. A lot of times I see people that just look at the cutting guide and they go, but the directions have definite tips in here, you know, about paying attention to the direction of the paper before you cut and some of those things. So you're going to have me to coach you through this one, but when you're doing these on your own or you come back to do it later, be sure that you follow the directions on the cutting guide. So I'm going to set my 2 base pages aside, and I'm going to decide which of my papers go where. And I think, actually, I kind of like the idea of using this red paper as a background and then punching my crabs out of this. Although this is kind of a busy background, I don't know how well the crabs are going to show up. So that might not be a good choice, but maybe I do the stripes here on the side, and then the 2 mats and those small mats. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to use this as designer paper 2, like this. And so then I need one to be the side panels and the back mats, and one to be my main piece. And I kind of like, again though, I like this wood to be my main piece, but the back side is so busy that I don't think it'll work well to have the crabs punched out of it. But maybe I could punch the crabs out of this, and we could put the wood along the side. So we put the wood along the side. I think I might try that. So that means that this is going to be paper 1. Oh, this was going to be that stripe. All right, so this is the hardest part about making your decision. I think I do want this to be my main piece right here, and that could be the back. But maybe I will use this on the sides. I don't know. Which one should I choose? Because we want to use the reverse side of some of these for mats. I think I'm going to use this one for designer paper 2, because these mats, G and H, if you look on here, oh no, it's M and N that go in opposite directions. Okay, so I want this to be M and N because this is not directional really on the other side. So this will be designer paper 3, this will be designer paper 2, and this will be designer paper 1. Okay, so I'm going to move this sample out of the way. And we're going to start by cutting. We're going to start by punching. And if you read the directions, it's so important to follow this first. Punch, border, then cut. Sometimes they want you to cut, then punch. With this one, I want you to punch, then cut. And we're going to be using the Curious Crabs border maker cartridge. Now, this is Wednesday, it's only June, is it the 19th? And this was released on Monday the 17th, and it's already showing as hot. So who knows what's going to happen, but you could do this with any knockout style border cartridge. And what you want to do is put your paper in the trimmer, like find the direction of your paper. This way it's going to be like directional on your paper. This is kind of the top and the bottom because I want my little anchors to be up and down. So this is the top, and I want to punch along the top edge. So I'm going to put my, actually, I want this side is the side that's going to show. So put it in that way, and we're going to punch along this top edge, just one border with the crabs, the Curious Crabs border maker cartridge. All right, and you get these cute little crabs that you could use, you know, as embellishments or something on another page. Look how fun that looks, kind of speckly. I think that would be really fun. We're not going to use them, although we might find a way to use them, but that's not really in the plan. So that's the only punching we're doing, is this one section. And then we're going to cut this at 2 inches. So you see we're following the cutting guide, punch, border, then cut. And we're going to cut it at 2 inches. And then I need to have a piece that is 5 inches on this side and a piece that's 7 inches. There's a little dotted line right here. And so I'm going to put this at 5 inches. And that's going to align my cut right between these two crabs right here. So that's 5 and 7. Then I'm going to take this paper, I'm going to flip it back, and I'm going to punch it at, I'm going to cut it at 5 inches. All right, so I have a 7-inch piece and a 5-inch piece, and that's all the cutting for paper number 1. Designer paper number 2, I'm going to pay attention to the directions. Oh, this is not going to work for me because this is directional paper. And G and H both go that way, but if I cut my stripes this way, then those photo mats are going to be on their side. So I think we're going to change it up, and we're going to do this one for the outside stripes. Nope, sorry. We're going to do this one. Yes, we'll do this one for these outside stripes, and then because this side is monodirectional. Oh boy. I don't know if these papers are going to work for this one. I might have to mix up the papers that I choose. All right, 2 3/4. 2 of these are going to be at 2 3/4, and that's going to leave us with a piece that is 6.5 inches wide. I'm just going to measure it here on my trimmer. And so now I need 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 6.5. You can do photo mats that are 4 by 6 and just trim down your photos, but sometimes I really like having a bigger mat around my photo. Then this piece is now 6.5 by 3, and I want 2 3 by 3 squares. So I'm just going to cut off 2 3 by 3 squares, and that's going to leave me just this little scrap from this paper. And on the cutting guide, you'll see it's marked with like little hash marks. That's how you know that's going to be a scrap. So now this one, I need to cut my mats, and I want to have this stripe, and I definitely want to cut along the side of the stripe. So I'm going to cut 2. I always like to cut across the grain of a stripe. 1, 2. It's really hard when paper is directional on both sides. I should probably write to Creative Memories and ask them not to do that anymore. Okay, so now I need to have 2 M and N. One of them needs to be, see, one of them's vertical and one's horizontal. So I think what I might do is put them right here and put those right there. But I need 2 4.5 by 6.5 and 2 4.5 by 4. So I'm going to cut, always like to cut the first number first. So we're going to cut 4.5. I'm going to cut 2 strips of 4.5. All right, and then I need to turn this and cut it at 6.5 and 4.5. So if you don't like both sides of a paper, you do not have to use, always have to use the same paper. If you have scraps and stuff, you can cut some of these pieces from other papers, and you'll see on here where it says reverse that you're going to be using the back side of some of these papers. So that's all the cutting we have to do. And so I've got these 2 little scraps, and then this one piece is also a scrap here. And now we do the assembly, which is, the fun part. So the assembly guide will kind of show you now with these pieces that all have letters, and then those pieces, how you're going to put it together. And when you're new to project recipes, you may want to actually even take a pack of Post-it notes and label these pieces as you go. But I've done them enough now that I don't really bother with that. And of course, we're going to move these around against the cutting guide, which, my customers who come to my monthly project recipe class are going to get a kick out of, because I always mix it up. And we kind of say, sorry to the designer, but even apparently when I'm the designer, I have to mix it up. So I'm going to lay it all out before I decide what I'm going to do. So here's the 7-inch piece goes on the left-hand paper toward the inside, and the 5-inch piece goes on the right-hand paper, about an inch from the top and bottom. So it's kind of centered in there. Then I'm going to take these two, which are pieces E and F, and I'm going to put them along the sides here. And this is, I may decide to mix things up a little bit as I go. So I like to lay it all out before I make any decisions. And then here's this little stripe that I want right here, right here. And then the way that the original design had it was that these two pieces would come right here as mats. And then these two would be here, but we're gonna flip them. Actually, I was gonna flip them here too, but I don't think that looks very good. So we'll leave it like that. And then these two pieces, the small 4x4s, would be mats right here. And then one of these is gonna go vertically and one of these is going to go horizontally. But I don't like that. I don't like that one of them has the stripes going in a different direction. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this. Except I don't like that either. I don't like these two together. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to flip this. And so this is going to be that little design. And then we'll have this here. And we'll just use the red stripes all the way for these mats. And then this will be like this. And these will be still like that. And then we're going to take our crab pieces, and the 5-inch piece will go across here, and the 7-inch piece will go across here. And I don't love that because it kind of blends in. You can see it really nicely on. Oh, wasn't going to flip this. I was going to do it like this. All right. Trying to do the same thing on both sides, a little bit hard. And I don't love this now. Kind of like it that way. So maybe now I'm going to do it like this and have the plaid. I want it to line up. I want my plaids to be the same. And then I'll do this with that design, kind of like that. And with this pattern, it's so close together, you might even want to take a piece of something and put it behind. Maybe we put this even behind to get us the little crabs, but I think it's going to be all right. And then we'll put these, and I want all the stripes to go in the same direction. I think I am going to, oh, we didn't use any of this back side, did we, with the little, I don't like that. I think I might use this little crab, or you could take a piece of contrasting solid color paper and put it behind if you don't like there isn't enough contrast right there. So I'm going to stick these down, and before I stick this down, I will come back and look at it. So what I want to do is I want to start from the outside in, and we're not going to stick everything down yet, because if we want to add some border stickers, we want to do that. Oh boy, I really like that better. We want to do that before, oh, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to flip it back the other way because I like this a lot better. Okay, so that's one of the nice things about the double-sided paper, is that you can change your mind as you go. And, play around with it. Flip things back and forth. Decide what you like better on the front and on the back. And just kind of see. I think I'm actually going to flip this over again, and before I decide to stick those down, see what I want. See which side I like better. This pattern is a little bit busy for me. I like that one side of our papers is usually more solid than the other. I like this one that we cut against the grain too. I forgot to mention that. But I definitely want this red stripe to be along the outside of this border. But before I stick anything else down, I want to look at my border stickers and see what we want to use here. If anything, you do not have to always put stickers on these. You could punch another border of something if you have maybe the old rope chain or just one of our just generic chains. I love the Rick Rack is one of my favorite Border Maker cartridges right now. So I've got a little bit of adhesive poking out. Okay, so now I need to decide right here what I'm liking. I kind of don't hate these little floaties, or whatever they're called, little, I think they're floats. And I like this actually too. So maybe we do it like that. Maybe we do it like that. But again, I can't use this here the way it was supposed to because this was a directional pattern. So we'll just use this right here. And then I'll use this. I don't love these two together, but I don't hate them together. And then this one I can do with the plaid side. Oh, and I like it so much better now going over this wood grain right there. All right, but I'm gonna look at my stickers. And on the sample, I use this kind of, it's not a diamond. I have no idea what the name of that shape is. I kind of like the rope. I think the rope would be really fun. It's got like a little grommet. And so I think I'm gonna take this and run it just along the outside of this. I could do it in the middle. That's kind of fun to do it along that middle seam where the two pieces come together, or right here along the outside. I think I like it on the outside. You decide what works for you. You do it in between the two or on the outside, but I'm going to do this on the outside right here. So make sure you do this before you stick down the rest of your pieces, because otherwise you have to peel those up. All right, so there we've got those. And now I'm going to stick the rest of these down. I guess I could have stuck these middle pieces down first. But I think it's so interesting that I completely changed how I was going to do it as I was, flipping things over to put the adhesive on. And that's just kind of the beauty of double-sided paper. So like I say, about 1 inch from the top and bottom. You just kind of want it centered-ish. And what I like to do is align one and then use it to position the other one. All right. Okay, I'm liking that. I think I'll wait to put the mats on until I put this on. What I did here was I put the little border with the crabs about 1/2 inch from the top of this this piece. And I want to use, I use regular adhesive and I want to use repositionable. I've lost my little repositionable piece. So I'm going to use the back of this just to protect my other work surface from getting any stickies on it. So about 1/2 inch-ish right here. And then we'll do the same here. I know some people really like using repositionable adhesive all the time, and I'm just not there. I really prefer the regular adhesive, and in spite of the name permanent adhesive, I do feel like you still have some kind of wiggle room with it if you do need to reposition. Okay, but now I've used that, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick this guy down. Actually, I don't want to stick it down until I position these, just so that I can make sure that they're centered and where I want them. So I could at this point maybe do, one that's, I think I'll do that. One that's the stripes and one that's the other. I have to do it this way though, because, well, I guess this way. No, right there. That's good. Okay. So I think I'll do that. Just got a lot of flexibility when you're using this double-sided paper. It is a little harder, like I say, when they're both directional, but it's not insurmountable. Okay, so these are our photo mats, and like I say, I did mix it up a little bit because because this was directional. But now I've got these other two pieces that have the wood grain, and of course I want to use the other side, which is not directional at all. And so on the left-hand page right here, under this 5-inch strip, we're going to put our 4.5 by 6.5 inch vertical mat, and then on the other side we'll put our horizontal mat. And I think that looks quite nice. All right, so this is, at this point you're basically done. This is the base for your layout, and then on the cutout right here, or on the handout, sorry, not cutout, handout, it tells you what size photos you're going to want to put in these spaces. And so all of these are going to take a 6x4 photo, 4x6. These are going to take 4x4. Oh, I forgot the two little squares at the bottom. We're not done sticking down. So I got these little guys, and I think what I'm going to do, so that I have one that, I want them to have some contrast, we'll do it like that. I could do both of them, but I don't want this to be the same. And I like having both, and I really like this wood grain. Okay, now we're done with our mats. So down in here, I have a 2x2 photo. I left one of these. You could put a sticker embellishment here, or you could journal on that. So we'll see what happens. I do have some pictures. My husband and I went to a lighthouse down on the Florida Gulf Coast. So this collection is very kind of New England, Maine-ish, but I live in Alabama, so that doesn't work for me. But I have some pictures of a lighthouse that we went to. It was raining. It was called the Crooked River Lighthouse. And I did have to actually steal this photo off of the internet because I forgot to take a picture of the sign, but I found that. This is a picture of the little lodge that my husband went up in the tower. So I have a picture of him, and it was pouring rain. So he was up in the tower in the rain. I'm afraid of heights, so I was down here under the cover. And so he took this picture, and then I just zoomed it in and printed another picture zoomed in so I could cut this little guy out. So I got these two pictures of him. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, this one. This is a closer one, a little bit closer of him. I had to zoom in again. I zoomed in and cropped on my phone so that I would have, because these were all vertical photos, but I zoomed in and made them horizontal by cropping. Got that one of us in front of the light. And then I have this one of us in front of the actual lighthouse. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these guys down. And then we're going to think about embellishing. And I want to use different embellishments or stickers than I used on the sample, just so you can see that you've got lots of different choices. Don't get caught up in feeling like you have to copy it exactly. I know a lot of the advisors that do these as a class, either don't provide any stickers or embellishments, or, they split up a pack of stickers and you can pick a few things. A lot of people make the layouts and then come back and put pictures on later. So however it works for you, but just know you got lots of options, and the way that the embellishments and stickers are done in the sample layout is just kind of to give you an idea of how that might work. All right, so I'm going to just tuck this one down here. And then we're going to pull the stickers back out. And we were kind of at the coast, salty sea stories, beachside bliss, the wake of adventure. I kind of like that, in the wake of adventure. I like the lighthouse love. I might use that. And it was raining, so I might use these clouds. So maybe I'm going to use a cloud and the lighthouse kind of as a little mini cluster right up here. I'll just put the little cloud on here. And I think I want to pop this up with some foam squares just to give me some dimension. I do like to use foam squares on stickers sometimes. I've got these little tiny ones, so just having to use maybe more than I ordinarily would. If you have bigger ones, you can use fewer, but these are from before they changed the size. Let's put put that kind of right there. And maybe one of these a little seashell right there, kind of underneath. I have to kind of do the rule of 3. So there's that. And then something down here. I think I might use this piece of driftwood. It's kind of cool down here. And maybe a crab, even though there weren't really crabs. We got the crabs up there. We'll put a crab on some foam squares. I think maybe I'll use some bigger ones this time, just so you don't have to watch me play with all the tinies. Okay, we'll use this crab, and he'll just kind of be sitting here on the driftwood. And then on my sample, oops, I forgot to stick this down. Oh, I didn't. On my sample, I put one of the big titles on here, but none of these really match. I think I kind of like this in the wake of an adventure, but I think I might want to put it, I don't know. I think I might do journaling by the bay. We were down by the bay. But I think I'm wanting something up here, right here. I don't know where I want it. Maybe we'll do it right here, and then I'll use that for journaling. I think I'll do that right here by the bay. And again, I'll use some foam squares. I'll use some big ones for this big circle. Maybe I'll use the little crab guy again, a little embellishment here, and the little circle. All right, oh, I've got this little anchor. Where could the anchor go? Maybe right there. That might be one too many sticker, but I kind of like it. All right, and so then I think I'm just going to journal right here real quick, and I think I'm done. I think that is gonna, that's gonna be done. I don't really have like, this is kind of a small title for me. I do tend to prefer a bigger title, but that's a title right there actually by itself. So I'm just gonna journal. I'll be right back. I'll show you the finished, and then we'll compare it to the sample that's on the handout, and you can kind of see how different these two layouts look from each other because we use different papers. Here's the finished layout. I just talked about how we hadn't known there was a lighthouse there, but we saw it when we were going to the World War II Museum and decided to stop. I think it looks great. But I want to show you the difference between this one and the original sample that I made. And they're very similar, but this one has kind of these bolder, darker colors for the pictures, and this one is a little bit softer. So you can see that the layouts are the same, and yet they're different. So I hope that you will give this one a try. I hope that you'll have fun with it. I would love to see other people do this with other papers, not necessarily with just with Coastal Shore. I think this could be really fun with some other papers, and maybe at some point I'll do it again, and we'll do it with a different paper. Maybe I'll show up as a Theme Park Thursday. So thanks so much for watching. I would love to hear what you think about project recipes in general, what kind of things you like to see in a project recipe. Do you do the Creative Memories project recipes? What are your favorite and least favorite things about it? You know, as I'm going to be, working on these hopefully for a while, I'd love to know what you want to see. We want to keep them so that they can be easily adaptable for people and that they're not too complicated. So I know one of the pieces of feedback I have gotten from people is, oh, sometimes they're too easy. Well, we like easy, because you can always floof it up a little bit, and maybe we'll do something sometime where we do an easy version and a harder version, and see how that works out. But right now we're doing easy. So here you go with Coastal Shores project recipe. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you will create this project recipe and have fun with it. If you would like the printed handout or the digital download of the project recipe, get with your CM advisor. If you are a Creative Memories advisor, this is in your advisor HQ. If you do not have an advisor, feel free to reach out to me either in the comments here or even better through my website, nicolescrapbooks.com. Click on the contact me button and I will be able to get you this project recipe. All right. Thanks so much for watching and happy scrapbooking.